Welcome to Conscious Cuisine Conversations. I'm your host, Shamika, and today we have a fabulous guest who I feel like is a trailblazer for the community. She's doing great things in my birth city of Opa-locka, and her name is Tia, and I'm going to have her briefly tell us about herself.
Hey.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
My name is Fatia Doster. Most people call me Tia. I'm the founder and owner of Juice Defined. We are an honest, holistic, healthy hub located right in the heart of Opa-locka. And we try to create impact in the community, or we are creating impact in the community by way of juicing. We have a juice bar, and we do all vegan friendly snacks, juices, smoothies, detoxes, wellness shots, you name it, all things healthy.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And what inspired you to get into juicing or open a juice bar?
So the whole juicing thing for me was new back when I started. I started doing juicing after I had preeclampsia with my daughter. So for people who don't know, preeclampsia is high blood pressure during pregnancy. I had a really severe case of it, which they call HELP syndrome. And it is when you experience like multi-organ failure. And so it's a whole process. But basically I went through that when I had my daughter, and it ended up giving me kidney failure.
Wow.
So I was on dialysis for a few years.
Wow.
And I had a kidney transplant in 2020. So it was during this whole process that I discovered juicing, and it like literally changed my life, like single-handedly changed my life. So, I just started sharing about it, and, I'm really transparent about my journey anyway, but I was sharing about it, and it seemed like people were really interested. It was just like, oh my God, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
Or, oh my God, I saw this before, but what is it? Like, so people were interested, and then it just kind of grew legs. And honestly, like in the beginning, I did not anticipate making it a business. I was just trying to share what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And slowly it grew into, people just asking, could I make it for them? And that grew into, all right, this is expensive. Y'all gotta pay me. And then, it slowly just kind of grew into a business. I think, initially it was just doing it for fun until, people were wanting to purchase it. And so I did it from home for about 7 years. And then I was like, all right, you either gonna do it or you're not gonna do it. Like get serious about it, or, and that's when I said, okay, I'm gonna get a storefront. I'm gonna open a shop. I felt I had enough customers to start, like to actually grow it. And then I just took that leap. I took a leap.
I love that. It seems like a lot of like business owners, entrepreneurs, they have that common, Black owners have that common story background of doing something at home to fulfill a need, to solve a problem within their self or like their children or home. And then other people, I guess they start sharing their journey, and other people want to get involved, asking questions. How can they benefit from what you're benefiting from? Because it was obviously beneficial to you and your health.
Mm-hmm.
And then turning that into a business, a profitable business. So I love that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What were like some of your favorite juices that you would make when you started juicing?
The first time I juiced, it was a mess. But, you learn, as you grow. But the very first time, I never been like a horrible eater. I will say that. But my house was like a salad house. So we had already had like everything that you could think of to make a salad. We always had fruits. I feel like I always had that stuff in my home. So the very first time I juiced, I just threw all of that stuff in the juicer. I didn't know what I was doing, but I threw everything in there. I mean, it was like watermelon, carrots. I had lettuce, which that's horrible looking back, but that's what I had. I had all kind of stuff. I just threw it all in the juicer, and it was like a brown color. And I was like, ooh, like this can't, ooh, it was just
It looked,
not.
ooh, but how'd it taste?
But it tasted so good.
Okay.
It was so good. And I was like, okay, but it got to be a method to the aesthetics, like,
Yeah.
so that's when I went down a rabbit hole for months and months, just trying to figure out what could I do to help with kidney health? What can I do to help with blood pressure? All the things I was dealing with, I was like, oh, let me try to see if I can find a juice for it.
I love
And
that.
so that's how I started I think when I first started selling, I only had 4 flavors. Crystal Explosion, I still have that today.
What's in that?
It's pineapple, apple, ginger.
Oh, that's my
And
favorite juice combo.
really,
Yeah.
now today in the recipe we put chia seeds, but back
Mm.
then I didn't. I
Mhm.
wasn't using chia seeds. And then I had the twisted carrot. That was one of the juices I started out with. I had the Love Crush and the Mean Green. Those was the 4 juices I started out with that I still have to this day. And so, yeah, over time, I just kind of expanded the menu as I learned more. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. Or, oh, but it was also about the aesthetics. Like, how can I add things that people will look at and want to drink? You know what I mean? So it was just a combination of both.
Were there any particular like juice combinations that you can recall that help for your personal like ailments, like with the kidney failure?
So I would always drink Mean Green. That was like the holy grail to me. Like I would drink that all the time. It has kale, celery, cucumber, lemons, ginger, and apples.
Mm-hmm.
And that combination for me was like, it was so energizing. Like I'm not a super sweet person.
Yeah.
So for me, it was perfect.
It was good.
So that was really like something that helped me a whole lot. Also with my blood pressure, like helping to stabilize my blood pressure.
That same juice combination help with your blood pressure? Oh, great.
So I would drink that for like, when I was obsessed with juicing, I would just fast and detox with that and just drink that all day, every day.
How much sugar? Like 16 ounces, 32
16.
ounces?
So I would do like, I would try to get through 6 16-ounce juices in one day.
What?
Yeah, even today, our detoxes consist of 3 day is 6 juices per day, 16 ounces. So, it's just it gives you a better flush. Like the liquids give you a better flush, and it help you stay full too. You don't feel hungry because you're
people feel
drinking
like
a lot.
if they drink just juice, they're gonna be hungry.
You will be, maybe. But you're not
Keep
gonna
it real.
be. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real. You're gonna think you're hungry, but in reality, you don't feel hungry. So the juices will fill you up, but it's not what we're accustomed to. Like we're used to overeating and like feeling like overwhelmingly full.
Yes.
That we don't think liquids will give us that same. We're looking for the same type of full when you should not be looking for that same.
You're not gonna have that same satisfaction.
Exactly.
I love that.
So it's mental. Mostly it's mental. But the juices will fill you up and you have enough to carry you, and it's enough nutrients, more than enough nutrients, that your body is not hungry. It's your mind that's telling you like, I didn't eat, so I need to eat.
Yeah.
And when you really don't need to.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And when you started your juicing journey, did you go out and buy like the most expensive juicer, or you just got what you can afford?
I got what I could afford. Well, first of all, the first juice I had was my mom's.
Okay.
Because she had a juicer that she never opened. And I was like, oh, well, let me get that, girl.
Yeah.
So she let me have it. And that's when things took off. And I kept getting that same type of juicer because I would juice so much that it would give out. It's the centrifugal juicer. I don't know if you're familiar with the centrifugal juicers and the cold press juicers are 2 different types of juicers.
Let's get into that too.
So the centrifuges, and get what work for you, what work for your budget. I tell people that all the time because they are effective. But they cheap.
Okay.
So if you the type of person like, I'm just really gonna juice on Sundays, it's perfect. But if you the person
which one's perfect? The centrifugal,
like the cheaper one.
Okay.
It's the one, it has blades in it. And so essentially it spins really fast to chop up the fruits and vegetables. But what happens is it heats up, like it heats the fruits and vegetables. So you don't get
the same nutrients.
The nutrients that you would get from a cold press juicer, which does not use any heat. And it's slow. It presses slow and not fast. So, I had the cheap one. Mom had the cheap one. I never forget it. It did its job. So no shade. But I started noticing like I juice a lot. Like I was obsessed with it when I first learned about it. So I was juicing like every single day.
Mhm.
Like I was doing a lot of fasts, like juice fast, and like the juicer would give out, like it would burn out.
Wow.
And so I looked up where to get it from. Like, where can I buy this from? And Macy's used to sell them. I don't know if they still do.
Mhm.
And so I went to Macy's. I would be in Macy's like once a week. Like it broke. I need to exchange it for a new one. And they'll exchange it for a new one with no problem. And I did that for a long time. Until, I got my little money up and I got me my little cold press juicer that was, a couple $100, and it was worth it. It was definitely worth it. But if you got the funds, invest in the cold press. You get better juices. You get more yield from the fruits and vegetables. Um, and it lasts longer. Nobody want to be doing all that back and forth, trying to exchange juices and stuff. That's too much. But if you just starting out, don't get discouraged. Get what you can afford and use that until you grow or you elevate or you see how consistent you're going to be with it. That's what I always tell people. If you know you ain't sure you're going to be consistent with the process, just get something cheap that, you'll use every now and then until you kind of grow into the practice of juicing.
I love that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned something earlier, that you started juicing from home for yourself. Then
Mm-hmm.
people wanted you to juice for them. And then you're like, this is getting expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So is it expensive to juice? If like, let's say you're doing like a couple days or long term, at what point can it become expensive to juice?
To be honest with you, I don't think it's expensive at all. Because one of the things about juicing is you're using produce. So you can use, I'm going to just be real for a minute. Like if you got food stamps, you can juice. It's not like, it's economical in that sense that it's not expensive. But the thing is, it becomes expensive when you don't follow the practice because fruits and vegetables go bad.
They spoil.
If you don't use them, you wasted money. So I personally feel like it become expensive when you let things go to waste and you don't do it when you say you're going to do it. Now you got to throw that out, go and buy some. And then going back to that notion of not feeling full, like people will be like, oh, I juiced and I still feel hungry. So now I still got to eat. And so it's not really expensive. That is definitely a misconception that people have. It's not, you can get, I tell people again, if you're a beginner, you could get a watermelon and just juice that. A watermelon is what, $12, $15 or whatever. And you can make juice for 4 days from one watermelon and get a lot of nutrients and get a lot of benefits. So you don't have to be super, like fancy with it. You can do something really simple. By the way, I have a digital manual, 5-minute juice recipes that you literally can make in 5 minutes and it don't break the bank at all. And it's only $3, I think, on my website. But, it's literally, it don't have to be expensive. But I think it's, again, just kind of reframing our thoughts about how we see juicing. Like if the intent is to fast, you can go into the store with $50 and you can have enough juice for a whole week.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like, it's very economical.
What is fasting and how long do you typically fast for? And are you just drinking juices?
So it's different way. I also got a manual too on my website. If you want. It's the detoxing and fasting manual and how to make it practical. So and it's free, so you can get it from my website. But anyway, it's so many different ways that people can do it because people do it for different reasons. So we can start there. That how you fast is based on why you are doing it. Like what is the purpose? What is the intent? And then you can kind of determine what you're going to do. So, oftentimes when people want to just reboot their immune system, they want to flush their, digestive system, liquids only is the best bet. And so you would do, that's when I was telling you about like the 6 juices per day. Like you want a good complete cleanse with a lot of liquids that's going to help you flush your system. But you also don't want to eat because, again, you're giving your body a break from kind of that digestive process. So you want to drink enough that you don't feel so full or you don't feel like you need to eat something. So there's that. We have a modified detox too that I'm sure it exists in other places, but I kind of crafted myself from the the feedback I was getting from some of my customers, like, so we can't eat at all. So what I did was I extended the time frame,
Mm-hmm.
right? And include juices and only whole fruits and vegetables. So you can juice and eat fruits and vegetables only. Which is another way to cleanse as well. It's not like a full-fledged liquid cleanse
Juice,
or
right.
fast, but you still get the benefits of just eating raw or drinking raw. So that's also beneficial. You know, so it's several ways to do it, but for juicing specifically, it's either full liquid cleanse, or you can do a modified version where you can just only eat fruits and vegetables.
And what's the time frame of fasting? Like how long do you typically fast? Like a couple days, just a
So I
day?
tell people 3 is like the most popular way, the
Yeah.
most popular time frame, and it's also effective. Like you get benefits from 3 days. If you do a 3-day liquid cleanse, like that's a good amount of time to reboot your immune system, to give your body a break, to really like jumpstart like whatever regimen you plan on doing moving forward. I say 7 days is even better. So if you can do 7 days, 3 days minimum, and then 7 days is really good if you don't want to go longer. But 3 or 7 days is pretty much the sweet spot for doing a fast or a cleanse.
And what are some like health benefits of doing a 3-day or 7-day fast? Like, can people lose weight from doing
Oh
this?
yeah, absolutely. I think the 3 day, I always have generally speaking, you can lose like around 5 to 7 pounds. For
In three
this
days?
in 3 days.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. The 7 day, depending on your BMI and all of those other things. But generally you'll see people lose around anywhere from 11 to 15 pounds in the week
Wow.
from doing a fast. I even had a customer, but she obviously her BMI was greater, but she lost like 18 pounds. She did the 7 day.
Wow.
And so that was obviously most of it is kind of like water weight, but
Yeah.
it's still, when you see that progress mentally, it does a lot. Cause then
Yeah.
it's
It
like,
motivates you
okay,
to keep
yeah, like
going.
I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
So, and if you can, you should,
Yeah. Does it make you use the bath, like
mhm.
poop a lot,
You
eliminate?
will, yeah, you will. Because that's what it does. It helps to kind of regulate our bodily functions. Um, so yeah, you will use the restroom a lot. Definitely number one. Number two, just kind of depending on um, how much waste we have inside. But yeah, you'll definitely do number one a lot, and then number two is it's pretty common that you'll do that a lot
Okay.
too. Hmm.
So it is expected. You're going to use the bathroom.
Yes,
That is the purpose, to
don't
get
be
that stuff
afraid of the
out.
restroom.
Good. Where are some places you like to shop for produce that's affordable, like people on a budget?
So, I mean, you could always go to Walmart. Like Walmart, cheap. I mean, people, it ain't my preference, but I would shop
I
at
don't like
Walmart.
Walmart, but
I
I
know.
was there this morning.
Yeah, see, like it serves its purpose,
Yeah.
So I ain't knocking Walmart, but a lot of times too, Publix, but Publix is not that economical. I feel like if you're looking
No, it's
for a
gotten
budget,
expensive.
yeah, if you're looking for a budget, then Walmart probably is the best bet. Aldi,
Okay.
but Aldi, you gotta you got to go in there and kind of see what's good. You
That's
know what I
my store. I
mean?
love Aldi.
Yeah, like Aldi got some good stuff, so
Mm-hmm.
you can definitely shop there on a budget. Um, and then I have shout out my produce store because they are. I'm gonna give y'all a little plug. Um, but I want to give them some shine too because they're also a small business. Brothers Produce Market.
Oh, I've heard of them.
So we
Yeah.
use them for they like our partners. I love them. So like anytime I need something that might be hard to access in other places,
Mm-hmm.
they got me all the time. So I definitely shop with them a lot. So that's one for like the local. If you local to South Florida,
Mm-hmm.
they really are a good produce store that you can get almost anything from.
So are you buying like in bulk, or are you buying
Mhm.
like one apple, a bag of carrots, or
Mm-mm.
is it better to buy in bulk? Like go to Costco, shopping wholesale?
Well, if a person is home doing a lot of juicing, you definitely want to buy in bulk, and you can do that like from Sam's, Costco's, and those
Mm-hmm.
kind of places. But if you want like the freshest, I would say the produce stores are like the better thing because that's what they focus on.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to, depend. It just depends on again what your budget is, how often you're going to be juicing, and what's your priorities. Sometimes people don't care about how super fresh it is, long as it's good.
Yeah.
It's fine. But for us in the store, we definitely we use a local farm. We have a local produce, not market, a local produce company that delivers, and that's because we buy in bulk. So, but for the average person, like you can absolutely do retail, Costco, Sam's, or those kind of wholesale places, or just simply do like the produce store.
I love that. So, as a juice bar, do you waste any produce when you buy any in bulk?
We have some spoilage. We try not to. I think we kind of well off in the game now that we kind of can gauge. We can kind of gauge how much we need. But there are times that we do have spoilage. Things like bananas go bad pretty quickly. But we hand freeze all of our smoothie bags, so we don't have a lot of waste. But we try to gauge. But yeah, spoilage is a real thing because fruits and vegetables go bad real fast.
Yeah.
So things like bananas, let me see what else.
Apples spoils. Everything spoils.
Yeah, everything spoils, but the thing is some things spoil faster than others.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like, certain things you can freeze, certain things you can't. Like bananas you can freeze and you can use them,
in a smoothie.
In a smoothie or whatever. Apples, not so much. You want to use them, especially if you cut it. You definitely want to use it right away.
Start browning.
So, but yeah, I don't think we have that much spoilage because we able to kind of go ahead and get it pressed up and
use it immediately.
And we usually make things fresh to order. So that's kind of like our thing. Like every morning we're juicing fresh, like batches of all of our juices. Because it'll be a lot of times our customers be getting on our head because we ain't got it ready yet. And it's like, no, we don't just have a million Beateritas stored in the fridge.
With some businesses.
Yeah.
The stuff don't be ready.
But
y'all stuff is fresh.
Our
so
stuff
if we
is
want
made
fresh ingredients and fresh products, you gotta wait.
I think people don't, they still wrapping their head around what that means. And it's kind of hard. We getting the hang of it, and our customers now, it's kind of like we give them so many options.
Yeah.
Like, call ahead, we'll tell you when to come, when it's ready, or you can order online and we tell you what time to come pick up. That type of thing to kind of, quell that issue with not having things when you just walk in. But usually, like I say, spoilage is minimal because we make things fresh to order. We try to get them out, as soon as we make them. So yeah, I think that kind of helps us.
That's good because I know friends that talk about juicing, but they complain that they buy the stuff and then it goes bad. I'm like, you gotta use it.
You gotta use it.
It's not. It don't have. It don't have preservatives in there where it can sit on the shelf for years. Once you buy it, you gotta use it.
You got to.
So I like how you say you have to be intentional and know the purpose and why you're doing it.
Yeah.
And you stick to it like that. How has juicing, the juice bar, impacted the community? Are they involved? Are they into it? Because I know you said there were some customers like, we can't eat.
Well, first of all, the community gonna be involved because we involved. Like, I feel like that's one thing we're very intentional about is like the local schools. They already know us because what y'all having? We could be there with samples for the parents and the kids. Even down to like the city hall, like, they know us because they come eat lunch there, or they come buy juices, or you know what I mean? So I feel like we try to be really intentional with being out in the community, doing different events, whether it's at schools. Matter of fact, we went to Cope High School last week, just teaching the kids about juicing, giving out samples.
Were they receptive to the juicing? Yeah.
They were, like, my thing is just try it. And if you don't like it, you give a honest assessment of it, but try it at least. And so all of the girls were willing to try it. They tasted it. They were like, we had a few flavors. They was able to pick their favorite, which one tastes the best, and, those kind of things. So I feel like we are really intentional about putting it in your face. Like, try it first. And then if you don't like it, fine. But at least try it, and understand what it is first before you just write it off type of thing. And we do that a lot. So we do a lot of community events. Like, that's one of our missions and our things is we outside. So, we want people to know about it. We want people to know, like, this is an option. You don't always have to eat.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with eating because we all eat. But, when we talk about improving our health, right, it's not so much as it is eliminating some things, but it's also being introduced to other things that's effective too.
Right.
So I think that's what one of our main goals is. I know that a lot of us are not well versed on eating healthier or what kind of options we have. So that's kind of what we've been intentional about. The community is pretty much active with us. They know we there, especially Opalaka. Like they know we're there.
Mm-hmm.
They consider us in most things that they have going on. I consider them our partners. Like if we need something, we
Mm-hmm.
call them, and they are pretty cool, from the mayor to the city manager, like, other community businesses and organizations. They know we there, and we do a good job at trying to make sure that we can partner and do things that's going to benefit the community as a whole.
I like that. What are like some kids and adults' favorite juices?
Crystal Explosion. That's like,
That's the one with the apple
yes, the
pineapple juice.
pineapple.
See, that's my favorite.
That is like the favorite juice. The favorite juice. Kids, adults, like, especially if you're new to juicing, and you don't have to be new to juicing, but especially if you're new to juicing and you're just trying to like transition your taste buds and your diet and all of those things, you're going to go for what's most familiar. And that's one thing I like about us too, is that we don't have nothing on our menu that people, maybe one or two things like spirulina, people, obviously we give some education around that, but everything else is like, what it is. It ain't nothing that you got to be like, what is that?
Yeah.
And so people connect to that. They like, oh, okay, this seems simple. I'll try it, but yeah, the Crystal Explosion is like the most popular. People who understand, like, I need this for my health, they gonna try the mean green or the beet juice because they like, oh yeah, I need this for my health.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it tastes like. They all taste good, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But people's, mindsets, beets, oh no, beets taste nasty, or beets is, they have like a bad experience. They've had bad experiences with beets and stuff like that. So they are more reluctant to try it. But once they try the recipe, it's kind of like, oh, that's good. It tastes really good. So but yeah, those are three top: mean green, Crystal Explosion, Beetarita. Those are top three juices.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's Beetarita. It's a beet lime watermelon mix. So it's really popular.
Okay. So earlier you mentioned some like juicing that are beneficial for those who may suffer from like blood pressure, kidney failures. And I saw on your Instagram you posted about a testimony from a customer who mentioned about erection or something, and the juice helped.
Oh, yeah.
What juice was this that you served that helped with their erection dysfunction?
That's so funny because, well, let's start with the fact that we have way more women customers than we have men.
Okay.
So, I think that, and we, for obvious reasons, like we know the statistics.
Yeah, there's more women than men. Yeah.
So, first of all, for her to remind me of that experience was like, it was mind blowing. I had to post it because I was like, oh,
wait,
yeah,
she
I
said her
remember
man
that.
was.
Yeah, she said her. I think she said either her baby daddy or her boyfriend. I can't remember, but she did say like he had the flat tummy shots. Those was the shots that I was selling, like from home.
Yeah.
And she gave it to him, and he reported to her that he had a really, his erection was better than previously. So I was like, oh, I remember like her telling, I vaguely remember because it was so long ago, but I do remember her saying that she was going to get them for him.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I knew the part about the erection part until she just said it, but I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Because when we start to fuel our bodies with things that helps our blood to flow naturally, because that's usually what happens when, men have erectile dysfunction. There's not like a consistent or steady flow or healthy flow of blood to that area. And so, when you start to drink and eat things that will help your blood to flow naturally, then you start to see progress in a lot of areas. He probably had more energy too. He probably went round 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, yeah.
But that's possible. Like when we think about the effect that our diets have on our lives, like we see it in more ways than one. And that was even my experience when I first started juicing. Like I was like vitamin D depleted. I was like iron deficiency. I had high blood pressure. I couldn't sleep at night. Like, it was so many things going on.
Yeah.
But the first time I started juicing,
Mm-hmm.
half of that stuff went away or minimized drastically.
Really? Like what?
Um, like I was well rested when I went to sleep. Like, I didn't wake up tired.
Mm.
I was using the restroom more regularly. Obviously, like, I was more energized when I woke up. Like, obviously that affected my mood and everything. Cause when you're tired,
You're not in the
most times
mood.
you're moody. And
Yeah.
so, by me being well rested and waking up, with that energy, like, my mood was better. Like, so those were some of the immediate changes that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she was talking about her people, I was like, oh yeah, that sound right, but more men needed to see that. So that's why I shared it, because I think a lot of times, first of all, most men ain't gonna talk about erectile dysfunction if they got it. They ain't just saying it.
It's
You know what I
silent.
mean? It's more silent. And so that's why I posted it with that, with whatever caption I said, was because I think that, men need to know that, like, okay, even if you're not outwardly talking about it, which I think you should, but
Mm-hmm.
if you're not outwardly talking about it, at least you know that there's something you can do to help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You ain't got to talk to me about it, but just show
Yeah.
up to the shop and get you some flat tummy shots.
What's in the shot? You
It's
didn't
just a
say.
grapefruit, ginger, flaxseed oil, and apples.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know roughly how old the customer were? They like young people?
I honestly, don't give me the line, but they
Okay.
young. But yeah, they young. I feel like they probably in their 30s.
Wow. And he has ED. Is this called ED? Erectile
Mm-hmm.
dysfunction?
Erectile dysfunction, ED. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Do people normally come into the shop and be like, do you ask them if they're like their health background, or do they come to you and say, oh, I have this and this and this. What do you recommend?
They do that all the time.
What are
What
like
can I
some,
drink?
yeah.
What can I drink for my blood pressure? Or
Wow.
what can I drink for, like, some people have like cysts or fibroids.
Mm-hmm.
I had and have quite a few, customers that have, cancer.
Mm.
Obviously, losing weight is a
Yeah.
big thing. So yeah, it's several things, like mostly blood pressure, like more common things: blood pressure, cancer, um, like cyst or fibroids.
What do you recommend? What juices do you recommend to customers that come in and complain that they have a cyst or fibroids? What juice do you offer?
So I always recommend them doing a juice cleanse. And I tell them to do that because, you want to be able to excrete a lot of the toxins from your body. So doing a cleanse or a detox will help with that. So that's what I normally would recommend for them instead of just one particular juice. And I think that's another thing too, that people have this misconception that I can drink it one time and
Yeah,
that's
and they'll be
it.
cured.
No,
Yeah, it's not a
it's
quick
not that. This
fix.
is not that. Like, it's something that you have to be consistent with. Just like, even if the doctor gave you medication, you can't
Mm-hmm.
just take it one time. You have to do it on a consistent basis
Right.
to see results.
Right.
So juicing is the same thing. So I tell people to kind of try to make it a practice because, you want to see the results and you want them to last. But if you're looking for something like, oh, I just need a pick me up, like, obviously that's quick.
Yeah.
You will feel those benefits immediately, like energy, that type of thing. But if you're looking to, like, lower your blood pressure, if you're looking to get rid of like cysts or fibroids, or even with cancer, like, it's a process that we have to take our bodies literally have to transform itself.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen
It takes
overnight. You know
time.
what I mean? It takes time, and we have to be patient with that process. So, and consistent.
Yeah.
So
So with those people that come in and say, hey Tia, I have this and this and this, what do you recommend? Do you ever have any customers that come back to the shop and be like, oh, this juice helped me? Or do they share any like testimonies with you? What are some like testimonials that people have shared with you that benefited from drinking your juice at Juice Defined?
Oh my God, my one favorite testimony that is like amazing. I had and shout out to Mark if he probably will watch this because he always likes stuff on my page, but he had skin cancer.
Mm.
And I never forget when he first came in, him and his mom, and he was literally covered from head to toe. Like, his face was wrapped, his hands, everything was wrapped. and his mom, and they came in. I don't know how they found us. I think from Google, Instagram. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But when they came in and his mom was just talking about how, and to be clear and fair, I didn't know what he was dealing with when they
Yeah.
first came in.
Yeah.
But they knew that juicing would be it. So when they found us, they were like, we need to, basically, they just wanted all mean green, just all mean green juice,
Yeah.
which has the least amount of sugar, natural sugar. It has the least amount of sugar, and it has a lot of the more powerful, like celery and kale, cucumber. So like that's in the blend. So they wanted just straight mean green, and he wanted to do like a detox. And so they bought the 3-day detox, all mean green. And he did that. Then he kept coming back for, okay, well, let me get the half a gallon. And he just kept getting half a gallons because he was
He
doing
started
this
increasing
fast
his
for,
intake of
yeah.
juices.
And he was doing this fast for a long time. And, you know, uh, when it started to get, he was doing it a lot. He was like, well, I'm going to just I'm going to just juice it myself sometime, save money. And I respect that because it can be expensive when you buying it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But he started doing straight celery juice, like watermelons, just that's berries, watermelon, and celery, like straight for like 6 months. And I never forget when he came one day, because I hadn't seen him in a while, and he was like, "Oh, I wanted to come by and get a juice." And when he came by, he wasn't covered anymore.
Mm.
But when he showed me the pictures of what was under all the covering, I was floored, like absolutely floored, because his, skin cancer, his skin literally was peeled off of his entire body.
Wow.
And at some point, he couldn't even walk because the skin was peeling off his feet. Like he
Yeah.
couldn't walk, he couldn't do nothing. But he was staying on that regimen of only eating watermelon, drinking watermelon juice, celery juice, eating only like grapes and things of that nature, just for months.
Months, okay.
And when he came back in, his skin was cleared up. Like he could walk. He came by himself. He drove himself.
Wow. The first
All
time
the
mom drove
times,
him.
yep. All the times they had came in the beginning, his
Yeah.
mom was driving him. He couldn't drive, nothing. And eventually he couldn't even walk. So she would just come get it for him.
Wow.
And then when he came months later and he was like, I was like in tears in the shop because I was just like, damn, like that's some real
Powerful.
shit. You
That's
know what I
amazing. That's
mean?
healing.
Like,
You're healing him with
mm,
juices.
absolutely. I was just like, this is real.
Yeah.
Like, and I wanted him to be out with his story before I even share. He is now, but before I even shared it. But at some point, I do want to, like, I really want him to just share his testimony, like on my platform, so people can see the power of juicing. Like, it's powerful. So that's my favorite testimony. But I've had others, similar testimonies. But that by far is like I'm most proud of that.
Wow. What about like with elderly people? Are they open or receptive to juicing?
They are, to be honest with you. I get a lot of millennials.
Okay.
I get some Gen Xers, a lot of Gen Xers too. But like the older people are, I feel like they open to it, and they will purchase. But I don't think a lot of them are like super heavy on like fasting and doing all. I think for us, it's kind of like we're more educated about how beneficial it is for us. I feel like the older crowd, if they gonna do it, it's probably for religious reasons or, something like that. Because I don't get a lot of older people doing fast and cleansing and stuff, but they'll come and purchase, like one juice, two juice, whatever they like. But it's not so much as the younger crowd.
The younger people, they're fully into it.
Yeah, I get like mostly younger people. I would say 25 to 45 is like that range of people that like they really into it.
I love it. Yes, millennials and Gen X and Gen
Y'all
Z
doing
and
it for real.
WIS, all that. So would you say that you've pretty much incorporated juicing? Is it like a lifestyle thing for you now?
It is. Yeah. I do miss days, but I usually have a juice, at least one juice every day.
Yeah.
So that's my current regimen. I try to do a fast once a quarter or every season. But yeah, like I try to do a juice like every day. I'll just take some home, or if I'm at the shop working, like I would drink juice, and that's like something that I do every day. That and tea. So
I love that. So can you like navigate me with your lifestyle? So you drink a juice. Are you like in particular with like with what you're eating with the juice, or you still eat how you normally eat, but you make sure that you have a juice a day?
yeah, so I
Okay.
eat what I normally eat. I do off and on. I do intermittent fasting. So
Okay.
like I usually don't even eat until after like 1 o'clock, 1 or 2 o'clock.
Is that what intermittent fasting is? In case people that don't know.
Yeah, so intermittent fasting is more or less where you block off a time to eat food and then you don't eat anything else outside of that window.
Mm-hmm.
And so usually that's what I do. Like I will drink from, when I get up until about 1 o'clock. That's when I'll have like probably my first something to eat. May not necessarily be a meal, but it might be something to eat. And then I will like probably eat like a real meal probably around 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then I try not to eat after 8. Like after 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock is when I'm usually like winding down my day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, from time I wake up until like around 1, like I eat no food. I'll drink, just eat tea, juice, water. That's the bulk of what I'll drink.
Okay.
And then, I can eat whatever I would normally eat after that time.
I love it. And you say you offer vegan friendly options too at the juice bar. How are the community receptive? Are they receptive to
Oh,
eating it or
yes,
trying
they
it?
are. Like, they love,
What's your most popular item?
our most popular item, I would say, is our Soli salads.
Mm-hmm.
I partner with our resident chef, Soli Delight, and she made the hell out of these salads. That's like it have greens in it, but it also has like a tricolor pasta.
Mm-hmm.
And then she also hand makes it's like a herb ranch dressing
Mm-hmm.
that's dairy free. It's
For
vegan
real?
friendly, vegan
Oh, I gotta come and
dairy
try
free
it.
dressing
Yeah.
that we use for the topping.
Yeah.
And it's so good. We cannot stay stocked with them because the minute she make them and we have them,
Yeah.
like the next day they gone.
Even non-vegans come in there to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Let's be clear. 90% of my customers are not vegan.
Yes. Talk about it. That is so
90% of
true.
my customers are not vegan.
Yeah.
So, that says a lot because
Mm-hmm.
then, they're willing to come and eat what we have, try what we have.
Yeah.
And that to me is a big deal
It
because you're
is.
exposing them to something different and they know, okay, I can eat this. Like,
Yeah.
this is something I can incorporate into my diet that's healthier than what I've been doing or eating.
Mm-hmm.
And so we take pride in that. Like, I think that we are for beginners. Like I
Yeah.
said before, like everything on our menu, people know what it is. You don't have to try to figure it out. So it's a big deal to me when I see that, people, they aren't vegan, but they willing to eat vegan. And that's all you can ask of people, just to be more aware.
Open
You know what
to
I mean?
trying something. Yeah.
Be more open to it. And we have that. So shout out to my customers because they good.
I love
They
that.
good.
I love that. And how long you been in business for?
So we've been in business since 2015, but
Okay.
we've been in the storefront for 2 years since 2021.
Okay.
Is when we open the doors.
Okay. And what are your long-term goals for Juice Defined? Where do you want to see your business in the next 5 years?
So I'm currently working on building out a franchise model. So I would love to franchise the business out. I think that makes sense. I think other people can carry it probably further than I am or I have. And that's the idea. Like, I want it to precede me. Like, I want other people to know about Juice Defined in other cities and other, you know what I mean? And I think it make the most sense that since we already had a framework, that other people take it wherever in a similar, community. So that way other people can be exposed to what we're doing. Like,
I love that.
I love the idea of that.
Yeah.
So that's where I see it. I see us in 5 years as a franchise, less than 5 years, but in 5 years, hopefully we can have at least 5
I love that.
franchises.
And I don't know if I asked you, why did you choose to open Juice to Find in Opelika?
I consider it home. Like, I'm from Carroll City, Miami Gardens. That's right next door. And I thought that staying close to home was super important. It was important to me. Just because I love my community, but not only that, there was a need for it there. Like, there was no other juice bars in the area at all. Probably within like a 5 to 7 mile radius.
Yeah.
And so having that there for us, I feel like was really transformational, you know. And then also I felt like Opelika was very much economical. So, it's one of the last cities to have like affordable rent. Everywhere else in Miami is like, as you
Yeah.
know,
It's
it's
crazy
crazy out
right now.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Inflation is
crazy.
real.
Yeah, for real. So Opelika, they welcomed us with open arms. And they really support us. They really mess with us. So I love that about Opelika specifically. But yeah, it was nothing like it over there. So it was like an open market for something like this. And we've been needing it. So I think, why not?
Do you want to only keep your business in Black communities?
I want to keep it in, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
period.
I was like, well, you gonna try to get politically correct. Yeah. Just,
Okay, for us, by us,
for us,
all
by
that.
us.
I love that. And what are some programs that you offer to the community if they want to get into juicing? Because I know you mentioned you have a program coming up for a detox or a cleanse.
Yes. So for individuals who ready to, really transform their lives by way of their health, we have our Cleanse with Intention program, which is starting 2024. We just wrapped up 2023. And we had really good success with it. So what it is called Cleanse with Intention. And we offer a dozen juices every month delivered to the customer to their front door. And so you pay up front, and for the rest of the year, you got your detox schedule planned out. You decide what weekend every month you want your juices delivered. We make sure it gets there with no problem unless you tell us otherwise. But this year for 2024, I revamped it a lot to include more interactive things. So we'll do more. My background is in therapy, mental health counseling. So there'll be a lot of group therapy sessions happening or counseling sessions happening. A lot of my holistic health practitioner friends will be on board to do some extra educational classes and give some inputs on those things. We'll be doing a lot of communication via email, motivational things to just kind of help keep that mindset strong throughout the year. So yeah, and then a lot of treats and stuff that I, just implemented as far as like just little gifts and things of that nature. So I think it's going to be a really good program, and it's really strong for people who really want to be consistent but have a hard time doing it on their own.
Yeah.
And so my intention is to build community around that. So everybody's doing it at the same time.
Yeah, and have
everybody,
support.
yeah, and they have that support for an entire year. And when you think about it, even though they say it takes 21 days for us to create a habit, imagine doing something consistently for a whole year. Like, that in itself is powerful and can be really transformational. So for anybody who is looking to sign up, registration is open. And remember, it's a year program, but you got support. Don't think about the time frame. People think about a year, and I'm like, well, what else you gonna be doing for a whole year? Like a year gonna pass whether you do it or not. So you might as well just do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a really transformational program. I think that I'm most proud of it because I know that it has the power to like just transform people's lives. So they can sign up. The information is on our website. Also on my Instagram, you can click the link in our Instagram bio and it'll take you there. Or if you have questions, you can DM me, text, get in contact with me. But
I
yeah.
love that. And you say you have a mental health or therapy background?
Yeah. So I have my master's in mental health counseling. So I've been doing like mental health therapy. I've been in that field my whole life. My specialty is addiction. So I have an addiction certification. So I've been doing that like literally my whole career from when I was 20. I think my first job in the field I was like 21. So from 21 till now, I've been in the field
Yeah.
just, doing that.
Can people who suffer from like addiction or mental health, could they benefit from like the healing powers of juicing?
Absolutely. I always tell people once we start to regulate, everything is hormonal and energy. So when we start to regulate our hormones, when we start to fuel our bodies with those nutrients that we're deficient in, everything else kind of stables out. And so it helps with a lot of the symptoms of depression and anxiety. You'll see a lot of shifts in those like mood disorders because the hormones are being balanced out. And not to say that it cures it. That's not to be mistaken for a cure, but it is to say that it contributes to our overall wellness. And oftentimes with a lot of disorders that we see, it's because it's an imbalance, a hormonal imbalance. And hormonal imbalances oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes comes from being deficient in certain areas. So when we can kind of balance that out, we can see a more balanced result.
Yeah, I love that. And is there anything else you'd like to plug? Tell people what's the address for Juice to Find? Where can we find it? Where can we find you?
Yeah, so you can find us again. We're in Opa-locka, 854 Alibaba Avenue. We are literally right by the city hall. So come try, if you know the Triborough station, if you know the city hall, then we are literally right there. You can find us on Instagram at Juice to Find. You can find us on Facebook at Juice to Find. And yeah, our website, thejuicedefined.com. So yeah, if you have questions or anything, feel free to DM us. We are really responsive when it comes to DMs, text messages, 786-566-3354. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me on Conscious Cuisine Conversations. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and learning the benefits of juicing, hearing the testimonies, because that was a very powerful testimony that you shared with us. And thank you guys for watching. Bye.